Hey guys, welcome back to RC Rugged Roach. So I said my course was complete, but you know how it goes. You find something you're not happy with, and then here we are with another project. As you can see on the right side there, you see a loose piece of cardboard. So what the issue is my SCX24, the Jeep JLU, doesn't have a problem with some of these tighter turns. But I made this a little tight for this great big O. This is an Injora build, okay? Everything but that Chevy body from Traxxas is Injora. So when I'm rounding these corners, it doesn't matter how slow you go. I got tired of having to creep back and forth. Plus that little rock ledge I had there kind of made this thing want to tip too much as I'm coming around the corner. It just wasn't a big enough turning radius for it. Now that's not glued down or anything yet. But you can see I'm needing that extra room, and even still I'm going to have to back up some to make the adjustment. So that's what my plan is at this point, is I'm going to hot glue that down. I'm going to put a little support under there, kind of judge how much turning radius I need. I'll trim that cardboard. Once I get that figured out, we'll figure out the support system underneath, and we're going to paint it up to make it match and everything. Let's get this figured out, see what I like on it, get this turning radius figured out. And I'll try to do a better job of doing a step-by-step. So my next step on this is I'm going to glue that piece of cardboard down with some hot glue, put a little support under there, figure out how much turning radius I need, because again, as you can see, that cardboard is going up into my display shelf. I had to take my Cruel Intentions monster truck off of there. Now that cardboard is not going to be interfering with displaying that truck by any means, but I don't want to have any more than necessary going onto that display shelf. All right, so here we are back. I've just got that piece of cardboard hot glued down, and also some support just to help hold it up until I get the final bracing under. It can be, it wants to fall sideways, etc. when making these turns and everything else. But this is where my cardboard comes into play, just to kind of give me a little extra play there on the side. Yeah, I'm still having to back up, but that's okay. Now I can make these turns easier than I was before. It was just too much of a challenge, too much backing up, pulling forward. Now I can do it, in two little backups. So anyway, that was the purpose of this cardboard. Again, we're going to blend that in by adding texture, the plaster cloth. Anyway, we're going to keep working on this cardboard over here. We'll dress it up, make it look real nice. Just wanted to give you an idea of what the purpose of it was, just giving me a little more turning radius there. Hope you liked this video so far, and I hope it's helpful to someone out there. But again, yeah, you guys that are looking to get into crawling, but you like the look of the monster trucks, especially those old square bodies like me who were raised in the 80s. I was born in the 70s, raised predominantly in the 80s. Gen Xer here, love those big bad monster trucks, which shows in my monster truck builds in the 10th scale. I need to do some videos, guys. I'm going to get better at this. I've had a back injury, and I've been down in my back, and I need to be doing a little more. That's where this crawler course came in, build at my own time, play indoors kind of thing. But we'll see how this goes. Hope you're enjoying it, and we'll keep rolling with this video. Okay, so I've been playing around with a little bit of ideas on possibly not making this permanent addition here on the side, something that I can just kind of remove if I want. I have this shelf here, and when I move in the future, I don't know how I'm going to have this laid out. So what I'm going to do right now is just do kind of a temporary thing. Now I did already have this piece of cardboard glued on here. So what I've done is I've cut this, and what I'm going to do is do possibly a double sticky addition to this on the side where the shelf is. So here's what I'm talking about. I simply cut this here, remove that. Now the section that was there, I can actually use, I always try to reuse what I can. So this I will use as a bracing here to kind of help support this piece coming off of here, that piece there, and this back piece here, and that will help support this piece of cardboard underneath, and I'll bring some additional support out as well. So what I'm thinking about is this is just going to kind of set on top of that. I will have support up under here, and I'm going to double stick it to the shelf or zip tie it to those little grating here, and it'll just sit there to where it won't move. The trucks can drive on that as well. It's going to be easier than me moving this piece around here, this whole big piece, or my shelving right now. I'm kind of in tight quarters now. So I'm just trying to take something to where when I actually have to move this stuff around, it'll be easy. I can either just leave this attached to the shelf, or simply pop it up, cut zip ties, or the double sticky. But it'll probably just hit you right on the shelf. I could make a permanent fixture that sits off the edge here if I wanted to, but for now, what works for me is a temporary solution until I get where I'm going. Alright guys, so let me show you how I figured out my next step. So obviously here's the piece of cardboard that I was showing you earlier. So what I did is I looked at my old stash of boxes I had lying around. Now, this was part of a bigger box. What I did was I set this up against the course here, and what I did was I just matched my angle using a ruler and cut it at this angle here, giving me the angle that I needed. Figured out which half it was that I actually needed, which was this half here, to get my proper angle. And then I took this, and what it is a matter now of sliding this bottom piece to make sure that this angle lines up perfect at top and bottom for what I need. You're going to get different heights by moving it, you know, back and forth. So once I get that matched up where I need it, I will just mark this box where to glue this piece on here, and that will give us that. Now, because this piece isn't solid on bottom, and I am going to double stick it down to where I can just leave it sitting on this shelf or zip tie it, I need a solid bottom. Or perhaps I could just make some little slits here and run it through here. But I'll probably give it a solid bottom, so I'll just glue some cardboard on bottom to give it a solid bottom. And then all this is, again, I'm going to fix up to match the course itself, so this will look good in the end. But right now I just wanted to show you my stages of development, what I'm thinking, how I'm thinking. But again, we're just going to move this back and forth till we find out what we need. Down here at the bottom particularly, because we want all this to match. It's a little bit high, so I'll move it that way a little bit. And now that is pretty good right there. So I'll just mark this, you know, take a marker, such as this right here, press this down, and it's as simple as just marking, you know, where the curves are. So when I use my hot glue, I'll know to match those curves up, and that gives me, once it's glued down. Now I'll probably put some extra little support down here, just because if I drive a truck it could bend down here, which could be simple as just putting a foam piece under here or something like that. Build it up, make it look nice, all this enclosed. I want it to look. So here we are with those pieces. Now I've got the actual main course piece painted up in black. That's just the cardboard with plaster cloth over it. This additional piece here has the plaster cloth over it. It has not been painted. So you saw the cardboard that I had, the piece that I cut over the piece of the box that I showed you, and then I just added a little bit of foam down here as a filler. Just some styrofoam. Now, see how easily that's pulled away. Here's the support rock that I showed you that I glued on there. I just wrapped the plaster cloth over it, painted all this. It's just black paint. And then this is simply not, I didn't put double sticky on there yet. I want to show you how easily I can just set that up against that. I will, you know, secure it down with double stick tape once I get all this painted and add the detail work that I want, such as some lava rock or whatever I decide I want to put to make it fit in with this main course here. You can see there on the right now, I have begun construction on the side piece there. I went with a graveyard theme. I just thought it'd be cool. Now, I do have this as a volcano scene, but you see the white, that is my Sculptamold. And I'm actually debating on whether I make it look like the lava didn't quite reach all those bones and stuff and leave them white. I did another skeleton in my display that looks burned up. Here he is. So he's like, you know, still hot, fiery. I've got him down in the lava pool. I decided right now not to go that route, although I really like that look. What I'm trying to decide now, though, is do I want to try to put some grass down, you know, the diorama grass, things like that. I don't want it in the area where I'll be driving, obviously. So I'm thinking most of that white will be brown, and then put some of that fake grass up around the headstones, maybe around the skulls, the heads, and then look like the dirt's been eroded. Maybe even leave some fiery embers around the edge of that white, like it's still hot where the lava had gotten to that dirt, and maybe a little grass burn up. All right, here's what I went with. You can see I've got the brownish mud, a little bit of darker mud underneath. You can see it better in that light. Got the headstones placed, got them all painted up nice. Just left the spooky tree in the back as it was. I may add some detail to it later. As far as fire embers or whatever, I only left the one rock up here, like maybe the lava had reached there last. All this has cooled. But anyway, I got the skulls in there, some fake grass up around the headstones, and skeletons, everything painted up. Now, I had to leave all the grass up here because, again, the trucks will be using this as a little bit of a turning area. Kind of cool to drive over these bones. Anyway, that's the final piece for that. Again, may add a little bit of detail to the trees. Yeah, I do have a seam here, but that's okay. I may try to blend it in a little bit later with some kind of filler. But anyway, I'm pretty pleased with this, and the trucks drive really well on that. Alright, so here we go. We're going to take a look at how that looks now. Having that graveyard piece there, just as a little bit of extra turning radius for this truck. Now this one and my Mia's build of the TRX4M are my widest turning. My little SCX24s don't have a problem. But you can see that gave me that little extra turnaround space there. Now, in a minute, I'll show you also that is very helpful when coming down and around the corner. So here we are going back up. We're going to come down the other way and show how that graveyard comes in real handy for coming down the other way. Make it a little wide. So yeah, without that, I would drive straight off of that. And then we just ease on down. When coming down through here with this Injora motor, that drag brake is pretty strong. This truck is actually pretty heavy. So, you know, I'm not giving any acceleration or deceleration most of the time coming down this hill. This is pretty steep for a truck that likes to flip. These taller trucks do. Anyway, that's us coming down the hill. I hope you enjoyed this little side piece I added on here. I hope I gave you a little bit of insight as to how to do things. A lot of you guys have been doing this for a while, know what you're doing, but if you're a newbie, I'm relatively new, just enjoy doing it. Hopefully I gave you some insight on how to look into building these things. Anyway, thanks again for watching here at RC Rugged Roach, and we'll see you in our next video.